this. We thought since we have such a good YouTube following that we could go live on YouTube. We go live on Instagram. We've been going, sorry that this is everywhere. I really apologize. I need something to set this on.
Just gotta get self-prepared.
We go live on Instagram usually, so we thought, why not hop on live on YouTube since we have such a good, fun...
You'll be in the both videos here.
Since we have such a good following. So we are live on Instagram right now, and we are live on YouTube right now because we have a lot of awesome YouTube subscribers that follow us. So we thought, why not try it on both places? So cheers, you guys. We're drinking our beers. Hello. We've never done a YouTube live, so we're really excited, and we are on Instagram live as well. So either place is great to follow. Thank you for anyone joining.
We are promoting Emily's husband's concrete business. He got us our beers tonight and did on purpose, I think, gave us the can koozies with his business name on them. It's a new business that anyway.
We are twin sisters. Yes, we are. We are identical. We are on here to answer some questions that we got on.
Did you put makeup on?
I do have a little bit of makeup on today.
I can.
And my hair's down. You guys, this is like a first. Okay. We are going to answer some questions that we got from some of our Instagram followers. Photography related. So before we get started, we did this last time and I kind of want to do it again because it's really fun. Tell us where you're watching from. We're from Wisconsin.
And we're watching from the living room.
And Alexa, turn off. Sorry.
I was wondering.
Sorry if that was distracting. Indiana, really Washington, yes. Iowa, Missouri. Iowa, Indiana. You guys have to figure. Illinois. Nice. Ohio. Green Bray Rogers. Are you a Packer fan?
Oh, I was confused by that.
Texas, Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Houston. Glenna, we knew you were from there, girl. Okay.
I just need them in my life.
Thanks, Glenna. You're so sweet.
We like following along with your stories too.
Because this is probably a first that both of us are wearing our hair down on the same night. And I thought, and I put makeup on just for you guys tonight. You probably really can't tell, but I did. Okay.
Let's get started. Okay. Oh goodness. I poofed that up a little too much. Okay. So, question number 1 was, what type of metering do you use? And so we use something called matrix, or you might know it as evaluative metering. We have played around with spot metering. We haven't noticed an extreme difference in it, and so we stick with matrix, or again, evaluative metering.
Yes. Before we get any further, we do want to tell you guys something quick. So if you haven't been annoyed with us already, especially on Instagram, we've been talking about this. Disney World is giving me a notification on my phone right now. We have been talking about this on Instagram for a few days now. We have a live 1-hour training. It is absolutely free next Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday. It is free. It's an online training. We give you a note sheet. It's all about manual mode. So if you struggle at all with manual mode, you have to join this because we go through all of the different manual mode settings, how we use those and set those and simplify it for ourselves. And then we talk about different scenarios, what to do if it's too dark, what we would change, all of those things. So it is seriously, it's amazing. We put a lot of work into this, so we're super excited to share it with you. So make sure you guys join that if you haven't. The link is in our Instagram bio. If you're a YouTube person, I believe the link is somewhere. We'll put it in this video description at the end too, if we can. Okay, next question is, there's fruit flies. Wasn't there fruit flies in our last live?
Yeah, because I was at my house and you brought them.
Oh, I brought them. Yeah, they're here.
You did bring them.
Okay. need more ISO help, grainy, low light, etc. So whoever had this question, it would be amazing for you to join our free training because we talk about all of that, how to fix those things. But just kind of to go over it a little bit, if you are struggling with the ISO or whatever, just to give it a low ISO is going to give you less grain. Higher ISO is going to give you more. You're going to need a higher ISO though when it's dark. But that also, if you're trying to use a higher ISO, you're going to get more grain. But then in that sense too, you could throw in a flash. We don't shoot with flash. Ideally, we always shoot in daylight. We don't try to shoot when it's too dark.
All right. The next question is taking photos in direct sunlight. So I'm guessing just kind of walking you through how we go about taking photos in direct sunlight. As far as direct sunlight, we're kind of assuming you're talking about like out of the shade. Well, duh, yeah.
Or in the middle of the day.
Or in the middle of the day. So most of the time, we like to find any open shade that we can. Like that's our biggest, like we're always searching for that shade, which is typically the best lighting. As far as taking photos in sunlight, if you have to, we always make sure the shadows are in front of our clients. Now, in the middle of the day, there's still going to be a shadow, even though the sun might be like directly overhead. There's still going to be a shadow one way or the other. So we try to make sure the shadows are in front of our clients so the sun isn't casting harsh sunlight and squinting isn't happening and unwanted shadows underneath the eyes and all of that stuff isn't happening. As far as a couple other helpful tips with that, we use a lens hood if we have to be shooting in direct sunlight. Most of the time we're not using a lens hood. The only time that we really find ourselves using it is if we're doing like sunset photos, or again, shooting in direct sunlight, which we don't do a ton. Any other pieces of advice with something? I'm thinking like lens hood.
There's shadows in front of them.
A lot of it's practicing where the client is standing, again, the shadows in front of them, and then where you're standing too. If the sun is blaring right through your lens, it's not going to give you the best look. It's going to give you that really washed out, maybe a sun flare, which sometimes is neat, but it's going to give you a really washed out, and it's going to be really hard to see because you're like basically staring at the sun, which blinds you.
So just playing with your angle and your client's angle towards that sunset time where you have that sun coming right into your lens. You're going to have to play with that or shade yourself, use a reflector to shade yourself, lens hood, stuff like that. There was one here. Just on here. So how to avoid hazy or muddy skin tones when you're hazel or muddy skin tones when the subject is backlit. Is that when you use the reflector and white or gold? No, we don't usually use the reflector.
A big part of when it comes to skin tones, a big part of what we do is we use something called an expo disc. And that helps our white balance, which then also in turn helps skin tones. We also can adjust skin tones if they're not completely accurate in our editing process. When we don't typically use a reflector at that time. We've played around with it a little bit. But when we do use our reflector, we're using like a gold and silver sided reflector. It's a mix between the two. And that's just kind of our preference with that. So
yep, there's a couple more. Do you use filters? I have read this helps with helps with string sunshine. No, we do not use filters. And then do you do in-person sales or do you sell prints at all or do you just deliver digital? We deliver a few digital images and then we don't do in-person sales. We do it all online, which is amazing because it's a huge time saver. So yeah.
As far as
we do sell prints.
We don't just deliver a few digitals. She said we deliver a few
They get a few digitals to download from their gallery.
Yeah, so we deliver the digitals. They get a few to download from their gallery. They can purchase more at an additional cost. They can purchase the whole gallery at additional cost, and so forth. And we don't do in-person sales. We do it all via video. And
just all online, not even video, not even FaceTiming them. It's all like pre-made videos we send. Yeah. Yep. Next question says, will you talk about your specific settings in your training? Yes, in our manual mode training next week that you can sign up in the link in our bio on Instagram, we do talk about our settings, our ideal settings. We talk about how we really, really simplify every part basically of our photography settings, all of that kind of stuff. We simplify, and we're changing as little as possible throughout the session because you're stressed out enough trying to do your posing and getting the lighting right. So we simplify settings big time. So it's a really good training to check out.
The question was just to ask, what software programs do you use for editing? We use Adobe Lightroom. And that's kind of what we've always used, I guess. We will use Photoshop for teeny bits and pieces of different things, more like specialized things. We do not use that for every single shoot. We actually rarely use Photoshop. Lightroom is our go-to, and we absolutely love Lightroom.
Quick question for you guys. Is it pretty obvious to you that I am the younger twin?
Oh my gosh.
Is it pretty obvious
that
I am
loaded on the makeup?
The younger twin.
We did have a question. What's our favorite on YouTube? What's our favorite lens to shoot with? Our favorite lenses to our favorite lens to shoot with is probably the 50 millimeter for families and seniors. And then also weddings, we really do stick to the 50 most of the time. As far as like our second favorite, it would be maybe the 85 millimeter or the 35, but the 50 is really our go-to lens, and we really like them.
Okay, this next question really spoke to us because this was us when we first started photography. So whoever asked this question, love it. They asked two different questions kind of, but how do I switch settings fast without freaking out in a shoot? I feel so awkward switching lenses and settings. Any tips keeping clients busy?
Oh gosh, I don't know what I just did.
Erin just did something. So anyway, we used to freak out because we would go to a session, we thought we had manual mode figured out, we'd get to the session, we would take like 3 pictures in manual mode and we'd look at each other and we'd be like, we're switching back to auto.
Because we would do it like this, be like,
switch to auto. Yeah, and then we'd switch to auto because we got so stressed out. Anyway, whoever asked this needs to join our training because we have figured it out how to simplify it and how to make it not as confusing as you read on the internet.
Because we had to do that for ourselves.
Yes. So we're teaching you the hard lesson we learned. But if you are stressed out about your settings or if you do need to switch your lenses, a lot of times we will walk away and just say, hey, we're going to go switch our lens or whatever. Even if you don't need to switch your lens, pretend like you're going to switch your lens and just take a deep breath so you can calm yourself down. Okay? But now, like the point we're at now, if something's weird about our camera, we'll just flat out say something's weird going on and just be honest with them. And they usually don't care. But that's kind of how we deal with situations like that.
And I do think sometimes we overthink that our clients are this awkward like silence, like what do I do? Because she's like doing something with her camera. I think we overthink that. I don't think that's the way they're thinking, especially if they've never been to a photo shoot before. Every photographer is a little bit different. So don't overthink it in that sense either. Somebody just asked, do we shoot with the 50 millimeter 1.8 or 1.4? I believe ours is a 1.8 because we're cheap, and that's a lot cheaper than the 1.4, and we never even go down to an f-stop of 1.8 anyway. Well, we rarely do, I would say. So the difference between a 1.4 and a 1.8 isn't gonna make or break it for us. So we did go the cheaper route. All right. Any advice on scheduling, like scheduling sessions? Fall scheduling is tough, this person said. What's too much? Not really sure exactly what all that meant, but here in Wisconsin, everybody wants fall, whether it be seniors or families, they all want fall because that's when you can get out the cute sweaters and the cute boots and the cute jeans, and the colors are beautiful, but they're only beautiful for a certain amount of time. And sometimes it's all about educating our clients, especially our seniors who think they all want fall. We tell them, like, we can fake the funk, pick an outfit in the middle of August when it's 80 degrees outside that looks fallish, whether it be a burnt orange sweater and some jeans and some boots, and we will find a spot that looks fallish and we will fake the funk. But it does get busy in the fall. What we do, and we've learned to do over time, is at the very beginning of our, like in our off season, which is winter here because it snows and it's cold and we hate being outside, we will book or schedule dates that we are going to book our sessions for the entire year. So that allows us to really say yes, no, even though we tend to say yes, yes, and don't say no when we should, but we're learning. So we try our best to just stick to those dates. I don't know, anything else with fall?
No, I think that was good. I saw another question. Do you ever have issues with your 85? I was at a shoot and images kind of got blurry. I see that question. Our 85 is definitely a little bit pickier with getting us those crisp and sharp images. Our 50 does a lot better job, not a lot better job, but a better job of that. So don't be too hard on yourself with that, Glenna.
I think sometimes if you're shooting with like an 85, it wouldn't hurt to go up with your f-stop.
Yeah, because you're still going to get that nice background. Tell me a little more about your course. I think you're talking about our manual mode training that we have next week. Just to quick give you a recap about what that's going to be. It's a 1-hour training. We're going to dive deep into all 3 parts of manual mode and how we adjust those settings, the settings we typically use, and how we barely change any of that throughout the session. We're going to tell you exactly how we do that. And then we go over scenarios and how we would fix certain situations. If you take a picture, it's too dark, what would we do? What would we change? To make it as stressful as possible.
So the aperture for your senior single person shot would be what? With the 50mm, you have the crispest, sharpest pics.
I believe
we're usually shooting at about a 2.2 or 2.8.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay, next question. How many pictures do you give the client and how many hours do you shoot for seniors? So all of our senior sessions are the same. They are 2-hour sessions, and which is usually about 4 outfits for the average senior. We take a lot more photos, but we end up editing and delivering around 100. We would like to be lower than that, but we have a really hard time with it. So around 100 images is what the senior gets. If they haven't purchased all the digitals, they get them watermarked, and then they get so many digitals that they can then download themselves and always purchase more later if they want.
Yeah, and then we give them a little print credit as well to encourage them to use that credit and buy prints from us, because those prints are a lot higher quality, and again, then we're making a little extra money off of that as well.
But when we first started out, we delivered probably still around 100 or even more, and we delivered all digitals, and we said, here you are.
But let us tell you,
totally fine when you start out.
That is totally fine, but once you're on your feet, we now make more money off of the prints than we do off of our session fee, which is amazing. So when you can get to that change, that's a good change to make, and you don't have to charge crazy prices. How do you get such a blurry pictures? How do you get such a blurry background in some of your images? So the blurry background, or the bokeh that we get in some of our images, has to do with a lot of different things. It has to do with the aperture, shooting with a lower f-stop number. It also has to do with the distance we are from our client and the distance the client is from the background. We go into this in our training as well.
What camera do you shoot with? We, for the most part, are shooting with our Nikon D750s. We did just purchase a mirrorless camera that we're playing around with too. It's a Sony. Just looking to see if we have any other questions.
What company do we use for printing our photos? Miller's Lab. Molly's on here. Our sister-in-law's on here.
Oh gosh, Molly, don't say anything inappropriate.
No, she's not inappropriate. I'd like to give Molly a shout out. She is the best TikToker to follow.
The mirrorless camera, Glenna, is doing great. We haven't messed around with it probably enough. We need to more.
We thought we'd have more time this summer, but we're so busy. But
yeah,
we are playing around with it. It's really helping
We've used
us.
It for some.
We're excited to understand another one. Okay. The next question, I freeze up at sessions trying to pose my families. How can I get over this hump? Again, we've been there. We used to get to sessions and we would have all of these ideas, especially family sessions, all of these ideas that we wanted to try, all of these screenshots of Pinterest poses that we wanted to try with our families. And then by the end of it, we maybe did one and had a crabby kid. So don't stress out about it. The biggest thing we can say is go into your session with just a handful of poses that you really want to try. And then if you have extra time, explore a little. Let the families just kind of roam and take some really casual shots as well. We do have a posing mini course that's extremely cheap right now. It's going to go up probably, I think it's going to go up in like a few weeks. It's only $37. We teach you posing of senior guys, senior girls, families, and couples, and then we give you some behind-the-scenes footage of us posing those people as well after we teach it to you.
Okay, so we have some questions to catch up on real quick here. So, do you measure your focal length? Oh, how many pictures do you give to your clients? So we deliver about 100. They might be watermarked depending on if they've purchased all of them or not. And then they get to download, depending on the type of session, anywhere from, what would we say, like 5 to 15 images. Most of them
that they get to download.
Yeah, that they get to choose and download.
But we deliver anywhere depending on because it could be a 15-minute session to a 2-hour session, or to a wedding. I mean, it really ranges. Yeah. So,
do you measure your focal length and distance to subject with an app? We do not. We just get a feel for it and kind of wing it and see what we like. And that's where the mirrorless camera has been extremely amazing. For those of you that know anything about mirrorless, when you're looking through it, it's basically like you're looking through it as if you would see it on your computer screen when you bring it home to edit.
Yep.
But anyway.
Do you use a speed light or off-light flash for fill on senior photos? Nope. What we do with seniors is we use a reflector a lot of times, and we place them in the perfect light. We find the perfect light wherever we can, and those are our 2 priorities, and then the reflector just 1 priority, perfect light, and then the reflector helps if we are in a little fishy situation.
And we try our best to be picky and overeducate our clients on good light if they are picking the location. Do you have an opinion on Canon?
Oh, no, here. Oh. Did you have to buy all new lenses for your mirrorless? We did buy just one. We only bought the 35. I think there's some sort of adapter you can use. We're not for sure, but we always wanted a 35 and we've never had one, so we bought the 35.
Do you have an opinion on Canon? We really just know people like Canons. I'm sure Canons are great. Nikons are great. Sony's wonderful. I think they're all great. The Expo disc, can you explain when you prep it and why you stand next to your subject? Do we have a video on this?
We might have a YouTube video on this if you want to check it out. If you go to our channel and then search Expo disc, I think we do have a video. We stand next to the client because then it's going to give us the light that's going to be, it's like showing the light that's going to be reflecting to them. It's kind of confusing, but it's really nice to use. We would highly recommend watch that video, and if you still have questions, reach out to us.
Is there any reason, YouTube was asking, is there any reason that we didn't pick up the Nikon mirrorless camera? We did some research on the mirrorless cameras. Sony came out with one maybe first or
I don't know.
Sooner than Nikon, but there were more like really great ratings on this Sony. And so that's why we knew Sony.
We knew quite a few people that were shooting with that, so we just went with it.
So we could ask them questions if we had them.
We did not do a lot of research, though. We're just kind of random.
Well, we did a little. The best videos. Okay, also I want to say.
Thank you, Sarah. You're so sweet. Okay. Oh, thank you. You guys are so kind. Okay, you kind of read those, and I'm going to go to the next one.
When you are doing a family shoot, do you start with the family first or kids? How do you, yeah, okay.
Oh, that's a good question.
How fast is your turnaround time on delivering? Okay, when we do families, we typically, because this is what the mom or the parents want, is they want that one Christmas card picture, or they want the one to hang on the wall, or whatever it might be. We do the whole family first. Because we feel like that's when the kids are the happiest and they're not super antsy, especially if they're little kids. And then if we have time, we, can give the kids a little break and do, breakouts, whether it be the mom and dad or, one of the kids or all the, and we do all the different variations. But it does give, if there's any fussiness, we get those pictures done right away. And then if we ever have to come back and we feel like, hey, they're doing good, let's try a couple more whole family shots, we can do that too.
Yep.
How fast is your turnaround time on delivering photos to your clients? It is pretty quick, but we also have 2 of us, so keep that in mind. But
here's what we usually do. We'll usually tell a family at the end of the session, you can expect your gallery to be delivered in 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll post some sneak peeks as well online. And our goal is to get it to them in 1 week.
Or a little over 1 week.
Yeah, which is pretty easy for us to do. But again, there's 2 of us.
What do you use to deliver photos to your clients? We use something called Shoot Proof, which just makes it look like a beautiful gallery. There's they can order their prints through there. There's a lot of different things they can do with Shoot Proof, and we love Shoot Proof. So,
Erin, where do you have your seniors change their outfits?
Oh my gosh, we have
in Blueberry, which is our pop-up changing tent that we have.
It's blue, so we named it Blueberry.
You can find them on Amazon if you type in changing tent.
And if you watch our behind the scenes of some of our senior sessions, we have one coming up on Monday, right? Is Monday our next senior? Monday's our next senior session. So watch behind the scenes of us shooting. You will see Blueberry, I'm assuming. We have all the seniors sign it. And with it's just a weird thing we do. Anyway.
Okay, back to our sheet here. Do you shoot in RAW or JPEG? Which is better and why? We shoot in RAW. We do not shoot in JPEG and RAW. We just shoot in RAW. The reason being is because when you bring your RAW image into Lightroom, you can manipulate it a lot better than you could manipulate a JPEG file. So if you, for some reason, way overexpose something, there's a lot better chance of you fixing it with a RAW file versus a JPEG file. Our images then end up, once we export out of Lightroom and give them to our clients, they end up as JPEG files, though.
Yep. Our last question here, unless you guys have more, is can you edit a photo that you've already posted on Instagram? Well, okay, so like Emily said, it's kind of confusing, but we shoot in RAW. When we export it, it gets converted to a JPEG, and then we can post that image onto Instagram. We would never take a photo off of Instagram because you'd be saving it to your camera roll or screenshotting it, and then the quality goes way down, and to put it back into your editing software, it just gets really messy and you lose a lot of quality then. So we don't do that, but we would never have to do that because whatever we posted on Instagram, we still have as a raw image and a JPEG saved to our external hard drive.
Okay, a couple questions. There was one on here, which I figured out how we can see them. Just read an article that says sneak peeks may not be a good idea, says it ruins the surprise. I do personally provide them. What are your thoughts? That's awesome. That's interesting. We kind of wish we weren't insanely giving them
too many.
1/8 of their gallery because we can't not, because we just love sharing them right away. So they're getting that surprise. I know that when they get their final gallery, it's not as big of a surprise, but we also, our followers love to see the sneak peeks too. So I think sneak peeks. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think, I know, like, especially our seniors get super excited for them.
When setting your manual mode, do you try to keep your meter at 0? For the most part, yes, we're trying to keep it right about 0.
There's reasons, we'll talk about this in our
training,
but there's reasons we would not keep it at 0 as well. For the most part, yes.
Okay, you go there and then I'll go here.
Storage, I have an external hard drive, but I feel my computer gets jammed so easily, and am I missing something? I don't know.
We save everything on our external hard drive, nothing on our computer.
And even though you save things on your external hard drive, it temporarily has to save onto your computer in some sort of fashion, and it uses up space. Over time, that space, even if it appears that nothing is on, like you've cleaned up everything on your computer, and I'm not getting like super techie, but if you've cleaned up everything on your computer, it's still taking up space because it at one point in time you used that space. Even though you've deleted it, there's still some space being taken up. So I don't know. I guess our suggestion would be to have your computer looked at, or to just really go through everything on your computer and start deleting things, or start investing maybe in a new computer if you're able to. But it's probably fixable.
Okay, I'm gonna go back here. Say I offer 25 edited pictures, but they decide they want more edited pictures. How do you charge? So we just have a rate for the entire gallery that they can purchase the entire gallery digitally, and you can determine what that rate might be best for you. It can be different for everyone. And then we also give them a rate for one digital image, which we've only ever had, and it's a pretty high rate, which, because our goal is to get them to buy all of them and spend a little more, we've only ever once had that somebody buy just the one. So how to focus on more than one people. I believe we have a YouTube video on that too, but that's a great one. It comes down to a lot of things, where you're focusing, what your aperture is, all of that.
And we do talk about a little bit about that in our free training coming up as well. Do
your clients sign permission for you to post on Instagram as you include the school they go to for security? Yes. As part of the contract, they sign a motto release saying that we can post on Instagram. And if they don't want it, they just shoot us an email and say they don't want it, which we do have some of them that do not want it. And so we respectfully don't post theirs. We have one this year that we won't be posting because they don't want their picture posted. So,
where did you guys get your contacts? Like your contracts, maybe?
Your contracts.
And then the next question, did you have legal professionals work out contracts?
So yeah, after we kind of created a draft of our contract, we did send it off and have somebody review over it for us.
When you send digital images for seniors to choose from, does your watermark appear small? Shoot Proof allows you to pick like how it looks and where it lands on your image. It's pretty, it's faint, like you can't see it a whole lot, but it's there. And then once they choose the images they would like to download, it removes the watermark automatically for them. So we don't have to go back and say, okay, they wanted image number 72.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Yeah. So, all right. Any more questions, you guys? We're super excited, and we do think, don't quote us on this, but we do think that we might do another live next week in addition to our free training. So,
quick question that I see here. Is it important to have a watermark? It's totally your preference. The reason we do it is because we don't want them attempting to screenshot them and then trying to print them and portraying our work poorly, which could also happen, screenshotting them, we realize, on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. But again, if they print it, it's not going to print nicely by screenshotting it.
All right.
Is that another one? Or
no.
Okay, so anyways, you guys, if you have not registered for our free training next week, there's a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then Sunday during the day. Make sure to do that because it is going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're giving away like our big secret on how we simplify manual mode and make it so manageable that it's like, why didn't I ever think of that? So we're really excited to share that with you.
We just had a suggestion from YouTube if we do a live next week to talk about our biggest mistakes that we've made.
Oh God.
Be ready. Be ready.
Okay, we might have to have a couple beers with that one.
All right.
Although I'm pretty sure we've probably shared them all with you anyway. But anyways. Okay, yay, you guys. We're super excited. I think we have a new YouTube video coming out next week too. I really do. I think we made an extra one.
Did we?
Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I'm glad that this YouTube live worked, and thank you all for joining us on Instagram as well. You guys, tomorrow's the weekend, and it's going to be warm here in Wisconsin, and we're excited because...
Yeah. And it's street eats. It's where they have, like, food trucks. And
food trucks, you guys.
So...
Food trucks don't come to this town often.
And we have a football game tomorrow night.
Yeah, so we're excited. All right, cheese curd time for us. All right, you guys, have a wonderful weekend. And we're going to figure out how to end this live. Do I just press the X button? Yep.